Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody is having an awesome weekend so far. I hope you're all healthy and strong. Students, this is a members chat class. Everybody is welcome to watch. There's lots of learning to be had. In order to become a member of our channel, just click the join button next to the subscribe button. This is an IELTS Task 2 writing class. We are completing a Band 9 essay that we started yesterday. We went through the planning and the introductory paragraph, and now we're going to write the body paragraphs and the conclusion. If you missed that class yesterday, don't worry, we'll quickly review the introductory paragraph. Welcome, Lady Ginger. Hi, Arda. Welcome, Kyber. Welcome to our members. It's good to have so many of you joining on time. That's fantastic. Students, this lesson is brought to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. And on both of those websites, you can use a discount code. That code is it's Pass IELTS. So Pass IELTS. That discount code is right above my head there. There you go. You get a 20% discount. We just sent that code out in a new newsletter as well a couple of days ago. I'll quickly show you those websites. We'll use these websites a little bit later today as well. This is our academic IELTS website here with the blue background. You just simply click this big red Join Now button to subscribe to our premium IELTS package that has 6 practice exams, over 100 hours of video lessons and strategies, a fully interactive course for your phone, tablet, computer, as well as many, many other helpful tools for all sections of the IELTS exam. And if you missed yesterday, don't worry, it's not the end of the world. We will be going over it today a little bit as well. Okay. All right. Sandra, welcome to our group of members. It's good to have you on board. All right, students, our general IELTS website looks like this with the green background. Again, just click this big red button there right beside our little IELTS hero to join our premium package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, and you can see that we are an official British Council IELTS Test Registration Center, and we are certified British Council agents, so you are in great hands with us. All right, students, so let's get into today's lesson here. And just before we do that, if you have any questions, you can always send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. You can send me an email there. We'll get back to you nice and quick. Students, we have task 2 right now. Then we'll have speaking after this class. Everybody will be able to join our speaking class chat. On Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, there's no class. That's usual. And then on Wednesday, we pick it back up again with speaking part 1 for everyone. And you will be able to see this schedule on our YouTube channel and on our Instagram. So make sure to follow us there and stay on schedule. All right. So let's get into today's question. This is the question we started on yesterday for task 2. When you're practicing at home, students, don't just read the question, start writing, but just, take steps, right? Improve, be efficient in your learning. So IELTS task 2 writing. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task in the official exam. Many people set goals at the start of a new year, such as a diet plan or exercise routine. However, lots of individuals often fail to achieve these goals. What are the reasons for their failure, and how could they be successful to reach their goals? Include relevant examples and explanations from your own experience. So students, what is it called? What are those New Year's goals called? When people set New Year's goals, what are they called? What are we talking about here? So what's in discussion? What's our task 2 essay going to be about? Okay. Yeah, very good, Jihane. It's New Year's resolution, or Kyber says New Year's resolutions. Yeah, Mian, very good. Yeah, and they're countable. So absolutely. Usually when we're talking about one person, it's a New Year's resolution. When we talk about multiple individuals, it's resolutions. So we did some good planning yesterday. I'm not going to cover that in too much detail. It's a bit much. But let's go over the introductory paragraph. So here is our introductory paragraph. Let's read the hook, the background, and the thesis. So 3 parts to a good introduction for a persuasive essay. Here we go, everyone. So every year, millions of people are depressed because they fail their New Year's resolution. Individuals set major goals during the start of January that should change their lives for better. Achieving these targets leads to happiness and improving society. I believe many individuals falter in their New Year's resolutions because they lack discipline and prioritization. However, with a step-by-step system and good scheduling, goals can be achieved. So remember what I said, because we have our thesis here, the thesis is super important. This means that body paragraph 1 will be about the reasons that people fail their goals. And then body paragraph 2 will be about the solutions to not failing, to achieving the goals. And this is great. You know, it's going to be a fun essay. And hey, it might just help some people achieve their New Year's resolutions as well, right? Okay, so let's get into it, everyone. I'm looking for some great writing from our members today, so lots of contributions here, and I will be taking some of your writing and giving you feedback as we do this. So, body 1, okay, it has a few parts. It has a topic sentence. All right, when you're doing your reading, it's like your list of headings, choices, it's your topic sentence, it's what your paragraph is about. Then you have explanations. You have examples, and then you have a connecting sentence, okay? So those are kind of the parts of your first body paragraph. And it's standard. Again, this is not me making it up. It's not like, oh, this is Adrian's method. This is the standard method according to English literature when you look at basic essay structure for persuasive essays. And on the IELTS, you really only need 1 explanation and 1 good example. If you're really quick, you might have 1 or 2, but 1 should be enough as long as you're doing a good job. So what is a topic sentence? Members, some of you have been in the class now for a while, so what is a topic sentence? What is that? So when you're thinking about, you know, okay, I got to write a topic sentence, what do you do? What should you be practicing for a good topic sentence? Okay, so I want you to interact with me. I don't want to just give you this information because, as wisdom says, if you're just listening, you're not really learning. So Arda says the topic sentence explains what the topic's going to be about. A topic sentence is introducing the main point to the reader, says Kyber. Jihane says it's when you announce the subject. So I'm getting you know, those are a little bit, each of them are a little bit different. They're kind of similar, but a little bit different. Try to be a little bit more tangible, so a little bit more material, something that you can touch, something that you can comprehend, see a bit more. Okay. Baljit says main idea of the paragraph. Okay, let's be even a little bit more specific. So topic sentence here in this case is your key point 1, paraphrased with further details. Okay, so yes, you're all kind of on the right track, but I want you to really think kind of like an engineer. So real world solutions, right? Don't just think of like the meta or the grand, but real world solutions. So it's key point 1 paraphrased with details. In this case, that would be people fail New Year resolutions because of discipline, because they lack discipline and prioritization. Okay, so here, when we say that, right, what you're basically thinking of first of all is discipline and prioritization, and they're kind of the same, but not really, so that's okay. So what's another way to say discipline? Okay, so I should say, what is another way to say lack of discipline? Okay, let's take a look at not having discipline, lack of discipline. So what's another way to say lacking discipline? How would you give more detail to that? How would you define that more? So remember, it's your key point 1 paraphrased with further details. Okay. So what does that mean? What does it mean when a person lacks discipline? Jihane says they're inconsistent. Okay. Let's see if we get some other. Okay, so Tatiana says procrastination. Yeah. Okay. Mal says cedar. Tatiana says disorganized. Okay. Artist says not programmed, not planned, random. June says not having determination and perseverance. Okay, yeah, I like that one, June. Yeah, Tatiana says not motivated. Carolina says no routine. Yeah, so careful. See, it's easy to confuse lack of discipline, lack of prioritization, because they are somewhat similar, right? Okay. So no determination, no motivation. Okay. An inability to start and finish an idea. How about that? Okay. And prioritization. Okay. Yeah. So how would you define no prioritization? Okay, and I think a lot of those words are good here. We don't all have to have the exact same topic sentence. There's many different ways to write a good essay. You just simply have to have the right idea, not the same idea, right? So what is lack of prioritization? This is where I would say no routine. I think, Carolina, this is where no routine. When you don't have like a, this is my first most important, this is my second, this is my third, that's when you don't have a routine. That's when you're not organized. And when you're not organized, we would say you're disorganized. Right? Okay. Buckrat says no schedule. And not regular, Arda, would be the same as no routine. Okay, Tatiana says poor time management. Exactly. So all of those kind of come together. Very nice, students. So that's what you're thinking of. Okay, now we can write our topic sentence. So I digressed a bit here on what a topic sentence is because I think a lot of students kind of have difficulty with these topic sentences, right? Preeti says not important, not truly important. I think that's a good one as well, Preeti, for this. Okay, so let's then now write our topic sentence. Write yours, I'll write mine using many of the words that you suggested for this topic sentence. And then we'll compare and we'll see what we end up with, okay? So here we go. All right. So this is what I wrote. Let's see what you come up with. Okay, so this is my topic sentence. In essence, much of people's inability to complete their New Year's goals stems from not having the determination to manifest their wishes in reality. And this is connected to being disorganized. Okay, all right. So basically, I took what you said as definitions of prioritization and lack of discipline, and I gave it a different kind of definition and paraphrase. And now this introduces this idea. It tells the reader that, okay, you're going to tell me about the reasons why people fail, and you're giving me some other ways to think about these ideas that you introduced to me in your introduction. Introduced to me in your introduction, right? Okay, so let's see what some of our members are coming up with. Okay, so this is Ashmi. Let's take Ashmi's writing here. Okay, so if you're looking at the chat, you'll see that this is what Ashmi wrote. Okay. All right, let's make some grammar corrections, some corrections to content, Ashmi, to turn this from a band 5 or 6 into a higher band writing. So Ashmi writes, eventually, usually Ashmi, when we start a sentence with eventually, we put a comma after, okay? So let me track the changes here so you can see this, okay? So that would be considered a mistake. Once you start your sentence, you should not use capital for common nouns. So this would be people, okay? So eventually, people are not continue. Are is an incorrect verb use. So it's do not continue their New Year resolution due to lack of determination and prioritization. So this is just a repeat, okay? You're only repeating. You can't just repeat. Due to lack of effort, right? Effort would be another way to say determination, and an inability to manage their time, whereby the resolution is at the top of their to-do list. or we could actually do it with hyphens. It's even better at the top of their to-do list. Okay, like that. So here, Ashmi, you can see that for a topic sentence, you've got quite a bit of mistakes in this. First and foremost, your biggest mistake is that you're just repeating your key point 1. For high band scores in the IELTS, like band 7, 8, 9, you have to go beyond just repeating information. In fact, it's really bad to repeat information in your essay because it's wasting time and it's making your essay lower quality. Okay, so be careful with that. All right, Kyber, I'm going to take yours this time. I told you yesterday I'd remember to pay attention if I missed it. Okay, so this is what Kyber wrote for the topic sentence. Okay. So Kyber writes, lack of discipline to maintain a routine creates a distance from reaching goals for individuals. Okay, so Kyber, again, discipline. It's a repeat, all right? Students, don't repeat the same word in your topic sentence, especially for your key point that you have in your thesis statement. Is that clear? Okay, can I get some thumbs up there? So if you find yourself writing the same word that you already have, even if it's a little bit of a different form of the word, you're still on the wrong track, okay? So here we have the word discipline in our thesis statement, okay? And we have the word prioritization. What we want is we want our reader to have a deeper, better understanding of what we mean with these words. And the way to do that is through paraphrasing. Okay, all right, so you're showing me, yep, got it. Okay, so don't use the same word, all right? You have to use a synonym. If you don't know a synonym, define it, right? Like they do not have the effort, they don't have the daily routine. You see how we came up with lots, right? So you want that, okay? So lack of determination, just like what June recommended. Lack of determination to maintain a routine creates a distance from reaching goals for individuals. Lack of determination to maintain a routine and making New Year's, we don't need to say New Year's every time, resolutions a top, or resolutions of top importance, of main importance. Creates failure in reaching goals. Okay, and we don't need for individuals, it's unnecessary. So those would be the changes, Kyber. All right, so again, main tips, don't repeat the same words, give more depth, give more information. Okay, so how do you define these words? Think about, like, if you looked up the word discipline in a dictionary, what would it say, right? If you looked up the word prioritization in a dictionary, what would it say? How would it define that for the person? That's what you're doing, okay? And thank you for those thumbs up. It's good. Okay, so once we have the topic sentence, now we explain it, right? And so the explanation, okay, so now that we have our topic sentence, now we give an explanation. And when you're giving an explanation, what should you be paying attention to? Okay. So when you explain an idea to a listener, to a reader, what do you really need to pay attention to? What must you make sure that you think of in order for your reader to be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I have a better understanding now. Yeah, that's clear. Okay, I get how you're, what you're saying, right? So what do you pay attention to? And again, students, I'm going to take different people's sentences at different times. Okay. And this is why your topic sentence has to be good, because everything is connected. So your explanation flows, of course, from your topic sentence, okay? And by mastering these essays and writing good essays, you're also mastering written communication in the real world, right? Okay. Baljit says, make it simple. Yeah, I agree, Baljit. So think of your audience. Yeah, simple is great. Yeah, I agree. You shouldn't try to overcomplicate an explanation. If you want someone to understand what you're saying, your goal isn't to try to make yourself seem smart. Your goal is to make sure that the other person, the audience, actually understands your explanation. Okay? So Bakrat says, make sure it's related. Okay? Absolutely, Bakrat. Make sure it has a strong relationship to your topic sentence, right? So don't start explaining in such a way where the person's like, okay, but how is that connected to what I just read, right? Okay. Very good. What else? Okay. So, okay, give details so the audience gets what you mean 100%, says Arda. Yeah, think about tangible. Measurable. Okay, visible. All right. One of the most common mistakes with communication, with explanations, is that people tend to stay kind of in the realm of intangibles or in the metaphysical, so in the non-real world, right? So people will say people just don't have enough energy in the day and they don't complete what they set out to do. And so their explanation just kind of keeps rolling forward, okay? The idea of a good persuasion, so to convince your audience, is if you start with something grand, right? A grand idea. Let me kind of give you an example of this in the tangible world. So let's take the late Steve Jobs, basically one of the geniuses behind the company Apple, right? Let's say that he's doing a presentation for the world on a new product like the iPhone, right? Okay. So he starts off the presentation with saying, the iPhone is going to change the world, right? That's a big statement to make, right? So if I start the presentation like this to my massive audience, and the reason I chose Steve Jobs is because I know many of you can visualize this because you have seen potentially the presentation of Steve Jobs, at least heard about it. You know that he was very good at presenting new products to the market, convincing people to use new products. And that's a great example of good communication. He was a master communicator. Absolutely. He was able to convince the world to use new types of technology. So he was very good at this, right? Okay, so he says the iPhone is going to change the world. Now, if Steve Jobs just keeps going by saying it will revolutionize people's lives, it will alter their reality. And if he keeps going in this way, eventually people will be like, okay, but what are you talking about, right? So Steve Jobs has to switch at some point to some kind of tangible, some kind of real world explanation. So so every person will have an iPhone in their pocket by the end of this year. This will allow people to communicate to each other by simply touching the screen on their phones and using the latest crystal camera. I'm just making this up, but it's things like this, crystal camera and hi-fi mic to communicate with their friends on the other side of the world. Okay. In fact, all of you at this conference get a new iPhone on the way out the door. Right? And then show the iPhone and then show how it works. So a presentation, like an essay, follows the same structure, a good presentation. Okay, so the presenter starts by making this grand statement, like the iPhone is going to change the world. And then the presenter has to eventually start to explain this concept of how it will change the world and something that we can touch and feel. Okay, Baljit says, yeah, I've read about him. He was great at convincing people. And this is kind of the structure that he used as well, of course. So does everybody follow with this? Okay, I really want you to pick up this style of thinking because it is challenging. And even though I'm telling you this, I promise that at some point you will still feel like, okay, but I'm not really explaining this to the person. I'm just giving them more ways of these kind of non-physical statements, like it will revolutionize people's lives, it will alter their reality, right? Okay. All right, so that's what we want to do in the essay. We want to be that kind of Steve Jobs presenter, if you will. Okay, so it's simple, it's related, tangible, measurable, it's visible. Okay, so here we have, in essence, much of people's inability to complete their New Year's goals stems from not having determination to manifest their wishes in reality, and this is connected to being disorganized. Okay, and then we can go into the details. Now, the IELTS questions try to help you with this, right? So if we go back to the original question says, many people set their goals at the start of a new year, such as a diet plan or exercise routine. So they try to give you, oftentimes in IELTS, they will try to give you a little bit of that tangible, that real world, so that you're like, oh, okay, that's what we're talking about, right? Oh, okay, I get it. So that can be our explanation, right? And this is where a lot of people confuse explanations and examples, all right? Okay, so here we go. Here's my explanation. Write an explanation, and then we'll compare, okay? All right? So all right, so there's my explanation, all right? Let's see, so here's what June wrote for the explanation. Okay, let's take June's. Okay, all right, let's take my iPhone example and move it down a bit. Same with our discount code, Pass IELTS. Okay, so So this is what June writes, and I'm going to grab everything that you have there, June. That looks good. Okay, this is the rest of it. Okay, and let's make this a little bit bigger. And then I'll edit this, June, and it's looking good. So I took a glance at it real quick, June, and it was already looking good right away. So this is what June writes. So sticking to weight management schemes and workout routines requires a high level of determination and persistency to get out of their comfort zone. However, most people tend to indulge in their short-term pleasure and give up their New Year goals halfway. Okay, so yeah, it's okay, June. I think it's okay. So you're being more real world. Definitely weight management schemes. Okay. You can be even more tangible, June. So you can be sticking to a weight management scheme, and instead of workout routines, because often that can be connected to a weight management scheme. So sticking to weight management schemes like setting a goal to lose 10 kilos in 6 months requires a high level of determination. Okay. Yeah, and instead of determination, if I use that in my topic sentence, I wouldn't use determination again. So I'm always looking to avoid any kind of repetition. I don't know if you did, June, but I would avoid that because I used determination. Requires consistent daily effort. Okay, and then I can get rid of persistency. Instead of saying to get out of their comfort zone, I would make that again to eat less food. And you could make that even more specific, like to eat 2,000 less calories per day. And do at least 20 minutes of cardiovascular exercise, right? However, most people tend to indulge in their short-term pleasures, like watching TV, and do not truly complete their goals or something like that, okay? Like watching TV instead of focusing on their resolution. Okay, so again, June, it's good. I like the way you started. I like how you bring it into the weight management, but I would even make it more specific. Okay, more specific. And I think a lot of times what people think is that, oh, okay, well, that's not an explanation. That's more like an example, right? Like you're actually talking about a specific example here. But it's not. It's not a specific example, and I'm going to show you what a specific example is. This is where a lot of people don't realize, like, oh, what is a specific example? So if I go back to my Steve Jobs example here to explain this concept, right? He says that every person will have an iPhone in their pocket by the end of this year. They will use this new application to communicate, but that's not the specific example. The specific example is when he pulls out the iPhone and he makes a call to his friend on the other side of the world in Beijing and starts FaceTiming. That's the specific example, okay? So that's real world, right? Okay, so Steve Jobs pulls out the iPhone and makes a face call to his friend in Dubai, all right? Okay, that's the specific example. All right, so that's what you want to think of, and that's how I would continue. Okay, so here, let me again reread my topic sentence, reread my explanation, and then give my example. All right, so I'm going to give an example here. You give an example as well. I'll find another student's example, and I'll maybe look at some explanations as well. So here we go, everyone. So in essence, much of people's inability to complete their New Year's goals stems from not having the determination to manifest their wishes in reality, and this is connected to being disorganized. Often people promise themselves that they wake up at 7 a.m. to do 30 minutes of running, but soon after they do not because they are tired and they have other important tasks like getting ready for work. Indeed, I had made a resolution at the start of 2022 to do 20 minutes of yoga at in the morning, but I have faltered because I wake up late at 8 p.m. and I have to rush to the office. Okay, so that's my real world example. And again, everybody who's watching, I know a lot of people are like, oh, but you can't say I or me or my in your essay. It's not true. That depends completely on the question. And in this question, if we go back to the original question, it says include relevant examples and explanations from your own experience. Okay, own experience means my experience. And of course, this question, that makes sense because it's New Year's resolutions. Everybody has it, right? So this is a persuasive essay in the first person voice. All right, keep that in mind. Okay. So here's a quick example from Kyber again, and then I'll take somebody else's as soon as I see it. So this is what Kyber writes here. And personal examples with this, they work. They're just as effective. Okay, we're talking about New Year's resolutions. It's not scientific. If you write something like, I read a research report that 20% of people fail their New Year's resolutions, like, really? You read a research report about New Year's resolutions? I highly doubt that. You might as well use something like a personal example, which is more believable, right? I mean, how many of us actually read research reports on New Year's resolutions? Maybe if you're studying sociology or psychology, you might, but I doubt it, right? So, you know, IELTS wants good quality information when they can get it. So this is Kyber here. Okay, so indeed, in 2021, I had decided to start my career in accounting. Nevertheless, I was delaying registration with the Association of Chartered Accountants. As a result, I wasted the year and I am still working as a cashier. Okay, so to show that you failed that goal, Kyber. Okay, otherwise it's good. Okay, I like it. So, so you were delaying your registration. Why, right? So what was your lack of determination? I might include that. Because I did not set a schedule. Okay. All right. So that's good. Okay. Let's see. Baljit. Okay. Here we go. And again, watch your punctuation and your capitals. So last year when you start a sentence, students, with time expression, it's followed by a comma. So last year, comma, my New Year resolution was losing 5 kilograms of weight. However, I ended up. So end, the verb, Baljit, can be past tense and it's regular. So I ended up not making close to 1 kilo because of my college studies, because I focused on my college studies and did not make time for regular exercise. Okay, so you need to finish that idea, Baljit. Don't expect that your reader will finish your ideas for you. Okay, you only have a partial example there. You have to finish that idea. Okay, let's take one by Tatiana here. Okay, so this is Tatiana's response. Okay. Just give me a second here, Tatiana. I don't want the... Okay, let's try this one more time. All right. Okay, so here is Tatiana's example. Yeah, and examples have to be real world. Okay, so Tatiana writes, indeed, I started following English language learning live streams every week as I had plenty of time during holidays, plenty of time during my winter holidays. However, I doubt I'll be in academic IELTS. Tatiana, don't use contractions. So I will be able to stick to the routine as my job will cut in soon. Okay, so however, I doubt I am. Let's not jump to future, avoid the future. Okay, so however, I doubt I am able to stick to the routine, this routine, specifically the one you're talking about, comma, as my job is more important than my studies. Okay, so I would finish it that way. Yeah, so you're having troubles prioritizing, right? Okay, so pay attention to those corrections. Okay, indeed, I started following English language learning live streams every week as I had plenty of time during my winter holidays. However, I doubt I am able to stick to this routine as my job is more important than my studies. Okay. All right, that's okay. That's an okay example. I think the relevance could be a little bit stronger, but it's not bad. Okay. All right, let's take one more. So here we go. This is Mal's example. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. Let me just make some adjustments here so it's more visible. Okay. Okay, so you say last year, for instance. You don't need to write for instance. It becomes very clear that it's your example just from your content. So for instance is kind of wordy in this case. Okay, last year I decided to go to, and be careful with spelling, go to Greece on a solo trip, but since I failed to prioritize my activities and finances, I failed in fulfilling that resolution. Okay. Yeah, and instead of just repeating prioritize here, Mal, I would actually explain what that is, okay? So, but since I failed to put in my calendar my day to book the trip, pack for it, and fly off, I failed that resolution. So make it more tangible, right? Okay, so this is how I would write this, okay? So last year I decided to go to Greece on a solo trip, but since I failed to put this in my calendar, my day to book the trip, pack for it, and fly off, I failed in fulfilling that resolution. Okay? All right? I hope that makes more sense. So you can see with the red underlining, there's obviously some mistakes there you have to pay attention to, but that will come with practice. And of course, students, if you want to get some editing like this, then you can do that on the website. So if you go to our website and you go into your My Student account, so again, you click that big red button to join the premium package, you go in your My Student account, and then in your My Student account, you have the green Task 1, Task 2 button that's just above my head there, okay? And you can click on that, okay? And you can take something like what Bahra wrote. Let's take that, and you can put it in there, and then you can submit that for editing. And of course, that's a paid service, so you're not going to have to pay. It's 6 cents per word, but it's worth it because you get to figure out where you're making a lot of your mistakes. You don't have to do it lots, just a few times to know what's going on, okay? And you can do that on the general IELTS website as well. Again, when you're joining these websites, students, you can use the code PASSIELTS to get a 20% discount, all right? So again, that code is PASSIELTS. I believe it's in a few different places here. And there you go. So that's the code there for getting the 20%. Members, I'm going to stop here for today, and I really went deep into what a good body paragraph should be, kind of working on your thinking. So now do this for the second point. So send me an email with the rest of the essay. You can put the whole essay together, of course, and we can give you a band score estimate for free. Right, so we can say, okay, that would be like a band 6 or a band 7 essay. Again, that second key point are the solutions, right? And the solution is a step-by-step system and good scheduling. So write the second body paragraph that that explains the scheduling and the step-by-step system in more detail with good explanations, good examples, all right? And stick to your New Year's resolutions. That's a good idea. You will be happy about that. And in 30 minutes, we will have a speaking part 1 class coming. And of course, everybody will be able to participate in that speaking part 1 class. I'm going to call some people, some of our members, some of our viewers to practice some speaking, give you some feedback, of course, some new questions, different topics. Thank you, Carolina, our moderator. Thank you to all of our members for this lovely class. I look forward to these Task 2 essays, and we'll post this Task 2 essay a little bit later on our YouTube channel as well, so you get to see the completed essay. Don't forget, aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Use our premium package and use the code PASSIELTS to get a 20% discount. That's just right there above my head. Okay, everyone, I'll see you soon. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria for now.